back to Key Conversations, where we talk about all the things to inspire and motivate you to create a sustainable and fulfilling career. Today we are going to talk about funding your record. This whole season is about the process of releasing a record as I follow my journey releasing Luminary, my new age piano ambient record, which you can find at IamALuminary.com. So let's talk about funding. There are a lot of different ways to fund your record. You have a day job and you're able to fund it yourself. Amazing! You might have some crazy awesome super fans who know that what you're up to and are willing to be your patron, essentially. Music in the olden days was always funded by patrons of the arts. You know, Beethoven didn't get paid per license. You know, he got paid by people willing to support the arts. So how do you find these super fans, these people that are willing to help you out? Well, first thing is you got to have a mailing list. If you do not have an email list, there's no way to communicate on this such a personal and some private topic, talking about money. It's not something that you can just post on Facebook, hey, who wants to help fund this record? When you have an email list, and you're doing it the right way, and if you want to know how to do it, then you should go check out Rock Your Email List, which is a program I've created that walks you through all of the steps, including some over 40 pre-written email templates. You can go to inthekey.co/email course to learn how to set yourself up and write content that will actually get you to make money from your list and engage with them in a way that has them stick around for a long-term relationship. So these relationships is what's really important. I personally found a lot of my super fans at house concerts. So I would play a gig, I would collect emails. I always knew that email was going to be really important. I would send some follow-up emails, say thank you so much, and then I'd say, hey, I'm going to be doing some holiday parties. Do you want to host one at your house? Or I'm going to be doing a spring barbecue tour. Do you want to have a barbecue and let's coordinate together? And it was a way for my fans to reach out to me and get to know me personally. And I ended up playing at someone's Christmas party. I played at someone's anniversary party. And those people are the ones that ended up writing the checks when it came time to fund my next record. I did do some fan funding. The first time I ever did it was for my second CD. And what I did was I put a PayPal button on my website and I said, please contribute. Don't use the word donate. You are not a nonprofit, so you cannot use that word donate. And I said, if you contribute this much, I'll give you this. And I basically set up like a pledge or Kickstarter campaign, and I didn't even know it. And it was super effective. People came to my website when I told them on the email, like, go check out all the different things you can get. And here's all you got to do is pay through PayPal. You can use a credit card or you can use your own PayPal account. I made it really, really simple. The second for my next CD, I used Pledge Music which is no longer a thing. And I ended up hitting that goal as well. And the cool thing about doing it through a website like Kickstarter is that other people that may not know you could stumble upon your project and support you, even if they are not a fan, just because they're looking for some projects. So that's a thing that actually happens on those websites. So there is an advantage to using a site that's already built in. The advantage to doing it yourself is that you can control the branding. You can change it up anyway. You don't need to adhere to their specific goals, Indiegogo, and sometimes you have to hit it by a certain amount of time in order to actually get any of the money, which can be a little bit of a stressor for sure. So you can do the crowdfunding thing for sure. Just know that when you are doing crowdfunding, there are going to be different levels. Someone can give you $5 and get, maybe a download or something like that and the album ahead of time. Or you might have a tier where someone can give you $100. The people that are going to give you $100 or $500 or $1,000 are very different. There's a different campaign, a different way to talk and pitch to those people than the people that are going to buy for $5. The people that are going to buy for $5 are going to support you. They're your friends. They might be your friends that are less likely to spend a lot of money on you, but they just still want to show their support, which is totally great. And that's going to be a numbers game. You're going to be looking for more people to purchase that lower end thing. When you're getting into the higher numbers, you're going to be approaching it in a very different way. You're going to approach that fan funding more like you're talking to people that you have a relationship with and you want to create partnership. They're really going to want to hear what's in it for me. What do they want that you think would be really interesting? Maybe they don't want to come see live shows. Maybe you don't need to give them a package of VIP tickets. Maybe they want a voice lesson for their kid. So one of the levels I had was a $2,000 level. You get to come into the studio and sing backgrounds on one of the songs. And I knew that I was good enough. The engineers I was working with were good enough to take anyone, even if they couldn't sing, we could make them sound good. We could tune them. We could do all the things. So I knew it wasn't a risk. I have a lot of vocals in my songs. I could definitely make it work. And 2 people took me up on it, which is really great. One person took it up for her daughter. And so they made a trip all the way from the South. They came up to New York and they made a whole weekend of it, and they got to come spend the day in the studio with me. And it was really a special experience. And that's way more interesting than something else I could have offered. So think outside the box. Think about what would be interesting to them. You can even ask them like, hey, I will give you something if you come up with it. And, you want to put some parameters on that and within reason. Are you willing to travel? That sort of thing. So when it comes to fan funding, you definitely want to put a time limit on it. You want to create some sort of urgency so that people are like, oh, I need to act on this, right? Then you can also do just personal asks. You can go to people who you think might be interested in funding something of the arts and say, hey, I'm doing this project. Would you be willing to be a partner of mine, a fiscal partner? You can word it that way. You can talk about what that looks like. You could give them a percentage of the first album sales. Like, you can create any sort of deal you want, but you just have to be willing to ask for it. I have gotten several $10,000 checks from super fans of mine saying, hey, I have this. Can I meet you for coffee? I literally drove down to Baltimore one day because that's where one of them lived, and drove down for lunch, met them for coffee, told them what I was up to, and was like, listen, you've supported me in the past. Would it be possible to do that again? And what would that look like? And they ended up being able to do that. It was a very, very cool thing. And I was willing to get in a car and go drive and have a conversation in person because that's how much I valued the money, but I also valued the relationship. Other ways you can fund your record is you can talk to brands that you use about partnerships, about promotional partnerships. Sometimes this is harder, especially if this is your first record or you're just starting off, but you can start locally. Like if there is a sandwich shop you go to and you say, hey, I'm doing a record. Would you want to sponsor my record? And anywhere I post about this record, I will say sponsored by you and link to your website. Or every live show I go to, I'll wear your store's t-shirts. So you can go into stores locally and do this. If you have a bank that you use, if you have a drink that you drink a lot, like a LaCroix, you could get sponsored by LaCroix, not so easy when it's a bigger company. It's much easier when there's a smaller company. I was doing a music video for my new record, and I reached out to one of my favorite online clothing stores, ModCloth, and I said, hey, I'm doing this record. I have this song. It's like a female empowerment kind of song. I would love to have a dress, wear a dress from you. And they sent me a dress. It was too big, so the whole video, I have if you find my video, Steaming Hearts, I'll put it in the show notes. But the dress is too big, and there's a big clip on the back of it, which I think you only see once if you like pause it at very specific. But I went rock climbing in it. I ran through the night, literally ran all night long in this dress. I was in a river, and it was so crazy, and they still let me send it back, which was kind of fun. Obviously, that didn't fund my record, but there are partnerships that you can do. You can say, okay, what do I need? I need this sort of dress. Do I want to go spend $300 on it, or can I create a partnership? And so you can create partnerships like that. So start locally. This is a great thing for social media, saying, hey, I'm looking to partner with a company and like do some promotions. And does anyone work for a company that might be interested in doing some cross promotion in a really unique way? And that might be something you might have a friend be like, oh yeah, my cousin works for this company. They've done that before. And it's just a matter of talking about what you want, getting really clear on what the request is. Would you be willing to reach out for me? Would you be willing to let me know? You always want to know what the question is so that people are more likely to act on their answer. So hopefully that is a little helpful. If you are looking to raise a lot of money because you want to have an orchestra and you want to go to a nice recording studio, that's one way. The other thing you can do is barter. I used to barter all the time. I would stay late and put away cables and do all the engineering work that they would hire someone to do, and I was willing to do that. And so if you're able to exchange some time for them, if you can help with their social media, the studio's social media, or maybe the engineer, there are ways that you can also say, hey, I'll give you a percentage of the sales I make, which isn't very, especially if you're an indie, that's not a very appealing thing. Most people know that like sales are not a thing that's very lucrative. So you're going to have to really sweeten that deal, make them a cake or something. But there are ways to barter with engineers. You can also learn how to do it yourself. There are so many resources and so many courses out there, and I'm going to be putting together the top-notch, cream of the crop courses in the Key Academy very soon. So keep an eye out for that, so you don't have to spend time and money seeing if a course is worth your time. I'm trying a lot of them right now. I'm in a lot of courses. I'm talking to a lot of course instructors. I'm talking to people who are real engineers, really teaching how to mix your own records, not just the hacks that's kind of figured it out. You don't want to waste your time on YouTube, because there's so much free stuff out there, and you'll waste so much time trying to figure out which is actually real and good advice. So there are ways to do it, and you should absolutely look into that. If you think that this could be really interesting and you're constantly producing music, it may be worth your time and your money to go take some courses and figure out how to get really good at mixing yourself and save yourself some money. So that's another way to actually fund your record, is by doing it yourself. So you're funding it with your time. And these are all valid ways to fund your record. It does not matter. There's no judgment around how you came about creating your record, whether someone gave you money when you raised it, whether it was your own money that you had made, or whether you bartered for it. Any way that you can create your art and get it out there is super valid. So I hope this was helpful and gave some ideas. Please make sure to subscribe. I really appreciate it. And please go order my record. It is music for focus and mindfulness. So I created it for creative people who are often struggling with anxiety, and you can find it at IamAluminary.com. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time.